Well, I bought a KTM. Alright, so if you watched my last video where I went on a little afternoon adventure with my friend Nate, you'll know that I was really impressed with his KTM 790 Adventure R. His is the R model, mine isn't. And if you are a long-time watcher of my channel, you'll know that I've been kind of daydreaming about bigger bikes than my 300 for a while. And the KTM has been on my short list. And I was looking in the classified ads, found this screaming deal on this 22 KTM 890 Adventure, the base model, and I just couldn't resist. Called it my 50th birthday present, because I'm going to be 50 in a few weeks. But yeah, so I'm just going to take it out today, give you my first thoughts. I did drive it home from where I bought it, but that is it. So I'm going to go take it out. I'm not going to get too crazy off-road. It's got very road-biased tires right now, so I'm going to have to get some 50/50 tires for the type of riding that I want to do on this guy. And yeah, so let's take it out and I'll give you my thoughts. So the first thing that made me look like an idiot when I was checking this out is that I couldn't find the start button. And the start button is just the same button as the kill switch. So if you ever go to test ride one and you don't want to look like a fool, now you know. Alright, and just to acknowledge the elephant in the room, yes, this is a KTM. I feel like KTMs are probably, at least in my experience, the most divisive bikes in the dual sport adventure segment, or at least on the channels and pages that I'm a member of. Seems like obviously I'm a huge fan of Honda, and I do tons of videos about my rally, and I see a lot of comments that say things like, for the amount of money you've put into that thing, once you've upgraded the suspension and got crash guards and made it the way you want it, you may as well have just bought a KTM. And then somebody buys a KTM and everybody's like, have fun taking that to the shop, or I hope you got the warranty, or whatever. So I'm like, you can't have it both ways. Either this is the best money you can buy and you should just go for it in the first place, or it's a pile of crap and you should never touch one. And I'm sure there's those among you viewers that feel both ways right now. And just for kicks, I'm going to try changing the ride mode. Let's see, how do I do that? Alright, hit set, ride mode. I'm going to go off-road since I'm going to be a little bit off-road. Like I said, I'm not going to get too crazy on these road tires, but we'll see if I can tell any difference. Probably not. Anyway, so yeah, for me it was more of just kind of an emotional decision. I loved the way it felt when I rode Nate's last week, and so I thought, this is probably going to be what I get when I get one eventually someday, in the far future. And then I saw a really good deal on one and thought, all right, fine. So this is a 2022. They've made a lot of cool changes, or at least a few really cool changes to the 2023 model. Probably the best of which is that in 2023 they now have adjustable front suspension on the base model. They've had adjustable suspension on the R model of the 890 Adventure the whole time, but now on the base model for 2023 they have adjustable suspension, and I don't have that. But after coming from the stock suspension on the 300L Rally, this just feels awesome. I can tell right off the bat that it's going to be a long time, if ever, probably never, that I will that my skill set will outpace the capabilities of the stock suspension on this 890 Adventure base model. So I'm not worried about that, and especially because this bike is a lot for me. Coming from very small bikes, it's 100 pounds heavier than my Rally, all geared up with my crash bars and everything. So it's not something that I'm comfortable at this point taking on, you know, twisty single track and all that kind of stuff. Maybe someday. But so first, right off the bat, first impressions, this thing is as stable as can be. I mean, you know, they split the gas tank so it goes down below the frame and it has 2 reservoirs down low, and man, that makes it so stable. I mean, just there's no top heaviness to it at all. I mean, I feel like I could be going like, you know, 2 miles an hour and still, you know, it'd be hard to tip it over almost. Like, I mean, seriously, this is like ridiculously stable, which is awesome. That was my biggest beef. I mean, from a reliability standpoint and just a tried and true company standpoint, I just don't think you can beat the Tenere 700 in this segment. But there was 2 key things that made me nervous. Well, three things that made me nervous about the Tenere that really kind of drew my eyes away from it ultimately. First was the seat height, a little bit tall for my short legs. I've got a 29-inch inseam. Second was the top heaviness that everybody talks about, which is like super non-existent on this guy. And the other is that, you know, the side of it is completely flat, so when it falls over, it is flush with the ground, a lot harder to pick up. I mean, literally, I've had this for about an hour, so thankfully I haven't had to pick it up yet. But I know I could. I mean, just looking at the shape of it, I know that I'm going to be able to grab a handhold and it's not going to be flat on the ground. So that's why I didn't go with the Tenere. I'm going to get to try this out in the rain. It started raining. And really my heart has been set a long time on the Touareg from Aprilia, the Touareg 660. I just think that is an amazing package. Everything I've seen about it, everything I've heard about it is just exactly what I want. But you have kind of the same reliability concerns that you do with KTM, in that it's, you know, it's not a Japanese bike. And there are no Aprilia dealers in Utah at all. Closest one is 3 hours away in Idaho. So I reluctantly decided against pursuing an Aprilia. If someday they make an Aprilia dealer in Salt Lake City or something like that, then I may very well give the Touareg a try. Incidentally, so far on this little, you know, well-maintained dirt road, even though these tires are very street-oriented, it feels great. It feels nice. So yeah, that's why I didn't go with the Touareg. Obviously, there are a few other options. There's BMW 950, I think, F950 GS Adventure or something like that. And who knows? I mean, I just haven't really looked into that at all. Maybe it's my dream bike, and I'll never know. But this one was available, was a good price, and you know, I kind of wanted to find out for myself how I feel about KTM. And honestly, you know, I don't see myself being like completely stranded off. I'm not going to take this to Africa and be in the middle of, you know, the Sahara Desert stuck. You know, I've got a satellite communicator. I'm never going to be like completely helpless. So if the reliability is a factor and I get stranded somewhere because the engine blows up, at least I have a way to deal with it. yeah, even in that loose gravel, I'm kind of surprised that I was expecting to slip all over the place with these smooth tires, but it felt fine. Maybe it's the off-road rider mode, I don't know. And the other thing that really kind of made me excited about this over like the Tenere, besides the deal-breaking factors that I talked about, is, you know, just the electronics. I mean, it's got 4 rider modes. I think the rally mode is super customizable, and you know, that's a pro and a con. But for me, I'm kind of excited to fiddle around with those things and see how I can make it my own. But yeah, I'm hitting some kind of, you know, washboardy stuff right now, and the suspension feels really nice actually. So, which is good since I can't adjust it. And like I said, my buddy Nate has a 790, and he has the R version, which is more geared towards off-road. And I'm going to be doing a lot of off-road, so, you know, why didn't I get the R version? Well, again, I have 29-inch inseam legs, and you gain the better suspension at the cost of like 1.5 inches or something like that, maybe more, I'm not sure, of seat height. You know, you get better suspension, but your seat is quite a bit higher. So for me, knowing my riding skill and what I wanted to do on this bike, the lower seat height was preferable to me to the better suspension. It's also got a higher windscreen. It's basically set up more for the road side, whereas the R is set up more for the off-road side. But the seat height is like lower, or it feels lower than my my CRF 300L Rally. The pegs are in kind of a weird spot. Like, to put my feet down, I have to kind of stick them out. But I don't know if you'll be able to see. I'm not quite flat-footed on both feet, but it's close, and it feels just really nice to have my feet comfortably on the ground. So yeah, that was a big deal to me. Let's see, what else? I mean, you know, cost. These are $1,500 less or something like that than the R models. So let me just do a quick little walk around out here. Another big beef that people have with KTM these days is their whole tech package thing, you know, where it's like, oh, we'll let you try out all the cool features for 6 months, and then if you want to keep them, you have to pay whatever. So, and I agree with that. That's obnoxious. You know, just charge an extra $600 or $800 or whatever it is, and give us everything right out of the gate, rather than tease us and then make us pay more. But this one has the tech package, which on this model means it's got cruise control, it's got the quick shifting, which I've just kind of played with. It's kind of fun, actually. I don't know how good it is for the transmission. I don't know if I'll actually use it that much, but it is kind of fun to play with. It's got the rally mode that I don't really know that much about, honestly, so I'll just shut up about the rally mode, but people tend to like it. But yeah, since it's used, somebody already footed the bill for that, and you're not going to get any resale value out of the tech package, so that's, you know, win for me, win for you if you're buying it on the used market. So, and it came with this really nice luggage that is keyed to it's KTM luggage, keyed to the bike, and it pops off super easily. And you can also, there's like this, if I can get it open, there's like this interior little bag that you could, you know, load up with stuff for a hotel and bring in if you want. So yeah, just like, so I will say there's something cool about getting a brand new bike. You're the first person to sit on it. It has 0 miles from a dealer. But there's also something pretty awesome about saving like $6,000, getting all the upgrades, having somebody else take care of that. It's pretty awesome, and this is practically brand new. It had 790 miles on it when I picked it up. He just got the first oil change, so the break-in's done, and yeah, it's, in my opinion, a very pretty bike. A lot of people think it's ugly. I don't love this low fender. The Rally, or the R model, comes with the high fender, and I think I can get a kit for like $130 that will put a high fender on there, and I'll probably do that, honestly, just because I don't love the look of that low thing. I think it makes it look kind of, the front end kind of skewampus with this little dragonfly head up here without something sticking out. So yeah, and obviously I'm going to get some 50/50 tires, but I am happily surprised that these didn't totally suck just driving out here on this tame country road. Just getting used to it. I mean, it's got 4 times the power. This has got 105 horsepower, I think. The Rally that I'm used to has 27 or 29. I mean, this is way. I guess it's, 3.5 times the power. Anyway, it's way more powerful, and you can feel it, and it's heavier. You can feel that too. You get, as you're driving down the street, you can just feel the momentum. It's not as flickable, I'd say. I mean, I haven't done anything where I'd need to flick it, but I just suspect it's not going to be as flickable because it's heavier. There's more momentum there, which is good and bad. When I was riding last week on Nate's, I compared the 300L Rally to a Jeep and his KTM to like an Escalade, and riding this around, I kind of feel that even more. Like when I drive my Jeep, it's not the awesomest thing on the freeway because the steering is so sensitive. Every little thing you can kind of feel, and you get used to it, and you don't think about it. But when you're driving a bigger car, you just kind of coast, and it just wants to go forward, and you have to wrangle it a little bit more for sharp turns, where the Jeep, I could turn around on like a dime. In an Escalade, I couldn't. This is a bigger bike. It's a heavier bike, not quite as responsive in the steering. Again, this is just driving down the street, driving at home from where I bought it, so I'll have much more thorough reviews as time goes on as to how it handles on a little bit more technical stuff. I'm not gonna get crazy with this. I mean, look how wide it is with the luggage. I guess those pop off super easy, so I could take them off, but still, it's not going to be my bang up single track bike. But and I'm going to at some point definitely make a a CRF 300L Rally versus the KTM 890 Adventure video, just because I have both bikes. Definitely not in the same class. Definitely most people wouldn't use them for the same thing, but I'll make one. But I want to get more familiar with the KTM before I do that. But I was kind of surprised that the size of it doesn't feel that much different. I mean, the physical size of it, like if you take off these panniers, it's bigger, but it's not like enormously bigger. When you're sitting on it, it's not just so intimidating. Like I've just sat on like a big BMW street bike and like an Africa Twin, and they just feel like massive machines. This feels a lot more manageable to me, and like the size that I'm more comfortable with, even though I can tell when I give it a little throttle there's way more waiting to be unleashed than on the 300L. But I really like the color scheme on this. I like the orange. I mean, I figure if you're going to get a KTM, it may as well be orange, right? Like I said, the gas tanks that are split, so all the gas is sitting down here. That's just a stroke of genius, in my opinion. The engine feels great. On Nate's 790, he has the upgraded muffler. I can't remember the name of it, but it's the one that you can get as an upgrade from KTM. And I like the sound of it a lot better. This one sounds a little bit, I don't know, janky sounding. I don't know. Like it's really fine. It's not like it bothers me, especially if I've got my earplugs in or I'm listening to music. But anyway, if you can find one that has the the upgraded pipe, I think you'll like the sound better. But the screen is just crystal clear. And when I ride this for a little while and then I go back to my my $300 Rally, I still love the Rally, but looking at the screen makes me feel like I'm looking at like a 1995 calculator. You know, it's just monochrome LCD, whereas this is bright, clear LED. So yeah, there's that. And this is, like I said, brand new. So to me, the rose-colored glasses will take a little while to wear off. Maybe they still haven't worn off on my 300L yet, but we'll see. We'll see if I have the problems that everybody complains about. I'll definitely be honest. If I run into obnoxious problems that are a pain to fix or that I need to take it to the dealer for. I think this still has about a year left on the warranty, which makes me happy, just based on the fact that I've never owned a KTM, and the word on the street is they're not the best for reliability. Something that I really do like about this bike is that a lot of the things that I am used to putting on bikes when I buy them are already here. I mean, it's got these pretty nice brush guards. They're not aluminum, it's a hard plastic, but they are wraparound. It's got a nice looking, to me, skid plate, bash plate. It's metal on the bottom, and then it's got this kind of thick plastic wraparound that goes up around the body. So I don't feel like there's this like list of must-have mods that everybody has to do the second you buy a bike. Like, just the way this is built, I don't feel like I'm ever gonna need or want crash guards on the side. I feel like that would just be extra weight. I don't think, unless these break, I don't think I'll ever change the brush guards. I wish it had heated grips. I think that may come standard on 2023, I'm not sure. Maybe it's just an option. I wish it had those. I really have grown to love those on my Honda, but you know, that's like a $70 upgrade. And I haven't ridden it long enough to really know if the seat is going to bother me. I can tell that the seat is harder than it is on my Rally, what I'm used to, but it's also kind of flat. If it doesn't feel bad. So, you know, we'll see what it feels like after a couple hours of riding in the desert. But for now, I don't feel like I need to upgrade that. I may, if I fall in love with the bike and I want to keep it long term, then I may get a slip-on muffler just for the sound. The one Nate has, it's still quiet, super quiet, but it just sounds richer, nicer. But that's a vanity thing, not a need. So I would only do that if I'm like, yeah, I love this KTM, I'm going to keep it for a few years. And so we're coming out here to a. Here, I'm gonna change this back to. I wonder if I should. Oh, I'm gonna put it on rain mode because it's kind of raining. Oh, got to close the throttle. All right. All right, so I'm in rain mode now. And I don't know if I've clearly addressed why I even wanted a bigger bike. And it's really because I'm anxious to get out and do longer adventures where I'm going to have to be on the highway, I'm going to have to be on the freeway. My buddy Nate, who just bought his KTM last week, he took a trip down to Moab, which is about a 3 or 4 hour drive, most of which is on the freeway to get there. So I just would never do that on my Rally. I mean, to say that this is better on the street than the Rally is just the most absurd understatement in the world. Like, it is so good, so stable. This windshield is really nice. I mean, I've never ridden a touring bike where it's just, you know, where you see people smoking a cigarette with a baseball cap on facing frontwards. So I've never had that level of wind protection, but this big windscreen just feels so great. I mean, like, I'm sitting here at 4,500 RPMs in 5th gear doing 70, you know, and I just have plenty left to pass somebody if I need to. I don't know if you can hear me because of, well, you probably can because of this windscreen, but yeah, like coming home this way when I do my little adventure rides and I get on this road that has a speed limit of 65, it's always a little bit stressful, especially if somebody comes up behind me. But this just feels just like a breeze. You know, I'm going 70 miles an hour, and I don't know what the top speed of this bike is, but I'm sure it's over 100. I mean, there's just so much room left in the throttle. So that's the reason I wanted a bigger bike, and I think that this is going to be a good fit for it. And of course I can't speak, as I've said, to the longevity of this or the reliability, but the fit and finish of it is just gorgeous to my eyes. Everything just comes together so nicely, and it just looks high class compared to my Rally. You know, the Honda 300L gets a lot of flack from people for being kind of cheaply made and for them skipping on stuff. And to an extent, I can see that. I mean, they had to skimp somewhere to have the price point that they do. But man, it's coming down hard. I'm glad I'm in rain mode. But yeah, so the fit and finish on this bike is just gorgeous. It just looks like everything is really well done. And I don't know if you'll be able to hear me. I'll try to talk loud. But right now there's a huge crosswind coming at me this way. And this extra 100 pounds in a situation like this of this bike is very nice. In a situation like this on my Rally, I feel like I'm really fighting to stay on the road. And I feel just, I mean, it's not comfortable having rain pelting me from the side and the wind coming, but in terms of stability, I just feel night and day more stable and more safe than I would if I was on my Rally right now in these conditions. And I don't think I've mentioned it before. I did say how much more power this has, obviously, and how easy it is to hold speed at low RPM and all that stuff, but I didn't talk about how approachable the power is. I don't feel like I'm going to accidentally end up on my back because I twitched my hand wrong. You know, it's all very smooth. The clutch response is great. In fact, I'm going to try the speed clutch right now. No clutch. Yeah, that's kind of fun. It does just it does just switch between gears, no problems, without the clutch. But anyway, it's very approachable. Transitioning from a smaller bike to this, I think for most people is going to be a piece of cake. And I imagine most modern bikes are like this, at least adventure bikes, that you don't need to hit 7,000 RPM to get to the power band, which is typical of adventure and dual sport bikes. I think they're going to feel approachable to anybody coming from a smaller dual sport or adventure bike. That's my suspicion, at least. I don't have much experience on the bigger bikes. But yeah, so my initial thoughts are very positive. I'm optimistic. We'll see how it holds up when I start beating on it a little bit more than I have today. But as far as I can tell, street mode, off-road mode, and rain mode all work just fine. I don't think I'm attuned to the bike enough to really notice the difference, but it's handled well in all the three conditions that I've been in. So let me know what you think of the KTM. Are you on team KTM sucks or Team KTM is the best? Do you think I made a huge mistake? Whatever, it's done. I'm having a blast on it. I hope you have enjoyed my little ride. I appreciate you watching my videos. Subscribe to my channel if you feel like it, and ride safe.